What is up, everybody? Today we're going to be watching Pinkfresh's new video called One Skill Top Players Don't Talk About. I already checked it out from his Twitter, but I kind of wanted to go over it and put my thoughts into it as a super top player. I just kind of wanted to talk about what he's talking about and maybe put into more words so that you can kind of understand why top players are so good at reacting and just knowing situations. But of course, check out Pinkfresh's channel. I will link to it down in the description. Love the dude. Of course, if you watch Tweak Talks, he is constantly on there. Pinkfresh is just a great guy, so I would really appreciate it if you checked him out. But anyway, let's get into his video, and I'll be pausing pretty frequently.
One skill that I rarely hear people talk about is a player's ability to continuously recognize the change in each situation and adjust their actions accordingly.
True.
Very often, players make their decisions based on what they want to do and not what they should do based on the scenario they are currently in.
Yes. So basically, he's just really quick. He's just saying people want to force their will onto the game as opposed to reacting to what's happening and changing what you want to do to what you should do.
Generally, most of the best players in the world gather information throughout the match, but most of the scenarios they are in, they've been in numerous amounts. If you've ever felt like you can't reach the top because you don't have the reaction time for games, it's not necessarily true. You have a higher reaction time to situations than someone with a higher reaction time than you in the same situation just based on experience alone.
So basically, he's just saying, again, just really quickly, the more times you're put in a situation, the faster you'll react to it, even if your raw reaction time isn't that great because you've recognized, oh, this is a similar situation to what I've played hundreds of times, so therefore you don't have to just rely on blind reaction time. You can kind of anticipate that it's coming and react faster than you ordinarily would be able to.
When you're playing and you experience the similar situations over and over again, as you learn what is good and bad in those scenarios, you can limit the amount of options both you and your opponent has to choose from and decide to make the best move there. Recognizing the constant change in scenarios and applying what you believe to be the best option there is called your refresh rate.
Which I honestly really like that term. He goes to explain it a little bit, so I'll just let it play.
If you're watching this chess game and you think it's sped up, guess again. This is how a game of Blitz looks at the absolute top level of chess. Players have seen these openings so many times that their refresh rates of the first 15 or so moves is so extraordinarily high, they respond immediately. It isn't until the later moves that they begin to experience unfamiliar positions and take slightly more time to think. TSM Charles can help break down what refresh rate is and how to improve it.
Which I love that comparison to chess. So again, basically just really quickly, he's saying the more that you are put in a situation, the faster you'll react to things. So if you already have the database and the knowledge of what's going to happen or what's likely to happen in a match, you can see it happening and then realize, okay, this is the situation where I've been in, so they're jumping, I'm gonna run in, and I have enough time to shield because I know I have enough time to shield, so I can run in and shield and get a punish on whatever your opponent is doing. Top players, especially like Meister, Leo, Tweak, are very, very good at this. I think I'm particularly good at it as well. I just don't want to toot my own horn. But like, it's something that's a really big deal. And of course, this Tweak's coach, he's great. So his explanation is also really good.
This is one thing that I kind of like to talk about. I call it like the refresh rate of a player. And it's going to go back off of what Gavin was talking about.
Gavin being Tweak.
With people buffering options in neutral. Most people do this because their refresh rate of the game is not as fast as the other player. So when Gavin's playing the game, and he doesn't even have to think when he's doing this, or even Pink, like just really experienced players, like when they're playing the game, their refresh rate of neutral is like way faster than most other players. So it's like, oh, boom, this hits on shield. Now what is happening? Like they're not saying that in their head, but they're mindful of what is going on, interaction to interaction, like, and they know the windows where it's like, okay, boom, now we can do something here. Okay, what did he do? Okay, the next interaction. But other people, their refresh rate isn't as fast, so they have to take guesses. There's a lot of situations in neutral where you're like, okay, I'm gonna do this, but then like it has to change because like you refresh the situation like 5 frames later, 10 frames later, it's different.
So again, I just want to super clarify this. What they mean by refresh rate is in your brain, you are basically interpreting what is happening as a new position. Because let's say go, right? It's like go, the game is starting. You run at your opponent. You have the option to either anticipate that they're going to move towards you and do an immediate aerial, that they're going to shield and you can grab them, that they're going to back up and then you continue to dash and take the space, or you can of course do an aggressive option. And if you anticipate, let's say, like, I know a lot of people like to dash back in the corner because it's safer. So I, at the beginning of the game, will either jump back and Thunder Jolt to catch that backdash and then take space under it, or I just dash into them, and then now I'm in the center of the stage and they're near the ledge, which is not where they want to be versus a Pikachu. And if I'm wrong, I'm constantly looking out for the situation of, oh god, they actually ran towards me, let's, you know, I'm now realizing this is a situation that I wasn't initially expecting, but now I'm here and let's play from this angle. And that can happen within like a couple frames, right? So you have to react and just be like, oh, this is happening, this is different, so let's, you know, change it. This also happens when people, like, this is actually a really good way to explain how I do so well versus Snake in Advantage, because there's a lot of situations where you can kind of tell when a Snake will or will not air dodge, will or will not be reverse a grenade, and it's just something that you gain from experience and just playing multiple different Snakes multiple different times on multiple stages and just kind of see where their pressure is. And it's one of the things that it's just really hard to explain because it's just my backlog of experience that is telling me this is happening, basically, if that makes sense.
Right? So it's like you have to have that refresh rate, and the only reason or the only way you get better at having a faster refresh rate is you stop guessing. You actually like put yourself in a situation where it's like, okay, boom, and then you're probably going to get fucked for it because you're bad at it, but that's fine. You know what I mean? Because you're gonna try to like hit someone shield and be like, okay, I need to like see what the situation is after, and then like you get hit because you're not quick enough or your reactions aren't good enough. But that is okay because you're trying to play neutral. You're trying to have the same refresh rate as like these top players, and you're trying to take these situations by situations instead of like clumping it all together. Like, I hit shield and I'm just gonna swing again. Instead of doing that, I'm gonna hit shield and like try to comprehend and see what happens and make a decision after that, instead of just like clumping it all together. It's like those string of like 3 to 4 situations, it's 3 to 4 situations and you need to refresh every single one. But a lot of players just clump it all together.
So I just really want to like just go back to what that meant. So basically, what Charles was saying is that a lot of people will take sequences for granted. Like, I'm going to actually show you an example in game. So a very common example for Pikachu in terms of this refresh rate, right? Actually, I'm doing this all myself, so I'm going to put it into frame by frame as well. But like, let's say a Mario tries to approach me and I just whiff punish it with quick attack, which I'm not going to show, but just I hit the quick attack, right? So I'm in this situation where like the quick attack is ending, I can't true combo into it, so basically I will pick what I want initially, right? And a lot of the times in this situation, I'll pick shield because Mario, or a lot of players like to air dodge here, but then Marios also have that really fast nair. So what I typically do, I'm just gonna try to nair with the Mario, is I just flash my shield, right? Where like I'm trying to parry, basically. So a Mario will neutral air, and then I'll get a parry, and then I can do like parry up tilt or something, right? Like I get the punish, basically. But in other situations, in this exact same thing, I can, of course, cancel my shield drop. I'm just going to get to where I hit, you know, this. And I start shielding. So I can also cancel my shield animation with jump. So there's a lot of situations where I do the shield and I immediately drop it because if they hit a button, I'm going to parry it, right? But my opponent decides to jump away. Or jump, I'm just going to say jump up because it's easier for me. So then I already dropped shield, right? So now I see this situation. I noticed the parry didn't happen. I noticed that something I'll cover in a little bit didn't happen. So I go, okay, cool. And then I up air. And then I can get my situation, like then now they don't have a jump, it goes into a different situation of a juggle and where we are on stage matters and platforms and stuff like that. But the third thing that typically happens, so I do this quick attack, and a lot of people, what they will do is air dodge either neutral or towards center. I'm going to just do it towards center. I'm gonna hold shield, and then the shield comes up. Again, I drop it immediately because it's gonna get the parry, so I already have that option covered, right? And then I can literally react to whether this is jump or air dodge because I'm so used to the situation that I can react to this faster than I ordinarily would because of, let's say, the Yahoo of the Mario, like the double jump noise or the boom, whatever you want to call it. And then I can, you know, see that an air dodge is happening and then figure out, okay, cool, they're air dodging away. Time to punish. And like I do this so frequently. Like you can watch any of my high level sets and I do this incredibly frequently. If, of course, the opponent doesn't have like a different out of shield or like get out of jail option, like let's say Game & Watch up B, or like a Yoshi double jump where they're just going to double jump because there's no reason for them not to. But this happens all the time, so I'm able to refresh the situation because I've seen this exact situation, this quick attack at this percent, so many times at this stage position where I just kind of know what's happening, so I can just do it instinctively and just know what options to cover and know what's going to happen. And people can be like, oh my god, like that was so smart, how'd he know to parry? It's like, I didn't know to parry, I just flashed parry, it didn't work, or it did work and I get the punish, which obviously you can react to that. And then otherwise you just do like the other options that are going to cover the things that aren't immediately mashing, and it's something you can very easily do. And of course with conditioning and with, you know, longer sets, you can kind of tell the habits that your opponent has, if you've been punishing them or not, if they're going to rely on it in pressure situations. There's a lot that goes into it, but this is a perfect example. So now let's get into Pinkfresh's example of Tweak. And of course this is just a really fancy Tweak clip, it's very good.
Tweak attempts an empty jump grab, but didn't observe he was on the wrong side, so he gets hit by a rising fair, but is aware the grab isn't a true follow-up,
His knowledge.
netting him a punish with down throw forward air. He dashes forward, and when seeing the double jump, he dashes back to cover the drift in, but reacts to the air dodge to the ledge by dashing forward.
So again, just for as an example, like this is a perfect example, is he's like, okay, well you are probably like, you're gonna jump forward, I'm gonna cover you going in entirely because then I can like shield and parry it and then get a punish. And then of course he sees the air dodge and goes, oh never mind, I don't have to anticipate the drift and aerial because he literally changed what he's doing, so I can just take stage.
He snipes the double jump, then moves forward to cover the immediate side B or air dodge to ledge.
Because he could just like down tilt if he sees the air dodge. So like you can definitely react to that situation. This is just an option coverage thing.
Once that didn't happen, he just had the time to down air, and that's one stock down. Tweak elects to go to the platform. He shields, and once he notices the opponent in a position for a falling aerial, he parries, but doesn't go for a punish. He empty jumps through the platform for a grab, reminiscent of the first stock, but goes for it instead. He dashes once, then sees Wolf double jump,
Beautiful.
then dashes for it again, and gets a punish on his lack of resources. When Tweak jumps and notices Wolf laser, he decides to go with an up B straight down because he knew it would lead to a tech chase on the platform and a guaranteed side B. Most people get aggressive when side B is on them, so he pokes, then turns around and waits for the fall through aerial and gets a parry into back throw.
So good.
Could have back air.
I'm just letting Pink explain it really, but
Forward air would net a better reward. Wolf could have air dodged his second forward air, but the orb would have put him in a worse position. Note this position for later in this breakdown. Afterward, the orb forces the air dodge low, and unfortunately, a bad angle on Wolf's up B leads to another stock loss. Tweak decides to go back to the platform, this time using tricky movement to wait out the invincibility. Once he sees another high forward air on his shield, he lands an air punish similar to the second stock. Again he dashes forward, sees the double jump, but notices Wolf continuing to fade back, so he opts for stage control instead of chasing.
beautiful.
Once he lands the stray side B, catching Wolf's dash, he begins positioning for aggressive jump-ins like the previous stock. He snipes the double jump with double nair, and because the orb's on, he knows a falling aerial is coming.
Makes sense.
Power up tilt, knowing it will lead into a nair confirm and combo into the orb explosions. After that, it's just cleaning up the stock. Remember the air dodge off stage from earlier? He already planned to do the up B off stage as shown by the arrow angle, but with no double jump the air dodge was almost, then he would have just done the up B back to stage.
Yeah. I'm gonna watch this in half speed, just because it's easier, so I'm not just like rattling them off. But I'm gonna watch this in half speed now, and I'm going to explain to you, or like just point out when Tweak is doing something because it's good and is setting himself up in the position to react, and then when he's reacting. Which I'll say like set up and then react, I guess. So knowing this, so this is just setup, is he knows that forward air is not true into grab, so he's just like, I know this, I'm going to spot dodge. If you read it, you got it. Because sometimes you just pick the right option, and of course every option is beatable, so if they read the spot dodge here and go like short hop, and then the spot dodge happens and they go like fair nair, like okay, they're just outplaying you, you know, like sometimes you just get outplayed. You can't not get outplayed in all situations. So then it's just like, okay, well, I'm just doing this. Might as well dash forward. Reacting. Okay, I reacted to the jump, so I'm gonna dash back. And it's still Wi-Fi, so it's a little slower than it would be offline. So, reacting. That was just option coverage. And then he's dead. Like, the fair is just like option coverage, and if he's wrong, it doesn't really matter, so you just do it. So reacting. I'm gonna do this. That was a predetermined choice, it feels like. Because empty jumps are typically like, I'm making this decision, and if they call me out, they call me out. Which is something, you know, I know that a lot of people like to empty jump, so at the same time, you can kind of, assuming your opponent doesn't have like a multi-hit move that you can transition from air to ground, like let's say a Roy side B or a Luigi Cyclone, you can kind of time your, kind of similar to what I showed with the Pikachu up tilt thing, you can go, I'm going to release shield, if they swing, it'll be a parry, and if not, I can start jumping and like add a shielding, an option, to cover if they do an empty jump grab or something like that, and if they just shield, then you just drift away. So again, let me go back to it. So this is just a decision after the parry. And then dash forward, he just is assuming he's not going to swing. So then he's like, okay, you're not going to swing. And if he does, then you can't react to that because it's frame like 6, his nair or something. So then it's react, react. Position because he probably assumes he's going to jump. Okay, he doesn't jump because that was to meet that. React to the side B, which is very, or the neutral B, which is very good. Punish. This is flowchart. This is just, you got to do it. Anticipating aggression. Beautiful parry. And then the double fair. Well, this is just, he was going to do this because it's a good option. Once he gets the parry. Like, the rest of that was flowchart, and then he dies. I'm going to go here. This is the way to stall a ledge. He was going to do that anyway. And if he got called out for it, he would have got called out. That was reacting, because once he did this shield, right? He was like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to shield. He hits his shield, correctly is like, okay, well, I anticipated him to do this, so I'm going to react and do nair because I already know that I can punish this. And then this is flowchart. He misses, sees the double jump. Once he sees the double jump, he's reacting. So it's correct, setup. Okay, react. That's just, he chose the option. Because Wolf was kind of far away, he didn't really threaten him. This jump read is crazy. Like, this one right here, calling out the double jump was insane. That was just so good, just anticipating that. And then, of course, that was just beautiful. That was set play. This is, like, this whole sequence, once he gets the double jump, is, I've seen this situation so many times that he goes up tilt here, and if he air dodges, like, if he swings, he gets hit. If he doesn't have a jump. If he air dodges, he can go up tilt and then, like, dash forward, F tilt or something, and just continue the situation, get the shield pressure, because the orbs are going to pop. So he gets a lot of advantage there. But, of course, he gets the hit, which then combos, he knows this, and this is just, like, reacting and executing correctly. And then the up B, again, as Pink Fresh said, he did this up B mad early. Like, Wolf is still in hit stun, and the arrows are there. So, like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 frames before he starts air dodging. So he was like, hell, gonna do this. And of course, this is reacting, because he's like, up B covers a lot, and if he doesn't do this air dodge, I'm just gonna go back to ledge. So he's technically reacting to the fact that he did air dodge, and so he kills him. So it's just really good. Super clean. But again, those decisions happen so quickly for top players because we are so used to situations, and this is why, like, experience is important. There are so many times I'll play people and they'll be like, how'd you know I was going to do X, Y, or Z? And the answer is, oh, well, I just know the situations really well, so once you didn't do one option, I figured you were going to do the second option because otherwise the other options don't make sense. Like, everything else is bad, so like, you're going to pick one of the two good options, and you didn't pick the first one, which I saw that you didn't, so I reacted and I figured you were going to do the second one in this exact situation, and then I know how to follow it up, and you can do that with DI reads, and you can do this with positioning, and you can do this with combo routes, and there's so many ways to apply this, and Pink Fresh's video is a great way to explain this, because I honestly have had a really tough time explaining it, and then because Pink Fresh, thank you, now I know the wording for this, and it is wonderful. Refresh rate is really, really important. Again, go check out Pink Fresh's channel. He's great. I'm going to subscribe. I didn't even know he made YouTube videos, so I subscribed. You should too. Also subscribe to my channel, because more breakdowns like this. It's awesome. It's good stuff. Woo! Thanks for watching. I'll see you all next time.